Kabir Das, who endeared himself to everybody for just what he was. While some quarters of people believe Kabir to have lived between 1389 and 1518, other accounts claim him to have lived between 1440 and 1519. While his parentage remains a mystery to date, it is clear that Niru and Nima, belonging to the Muslim weaver community, were his foster parents who found him on a lotus leaf in Lahar Tank in Banaras. He lived a simple life on earth, stood tall and touched the skies with his inimitable spiritual accomplishments. He composed poetry and music that was easily understood by the masses and tugged at their heartstrings. Kabir was a mystic, a legend, an enigma, both in his lifetime and beyond. He impacted the Bhakti movement profoundly and believed that God resides within every individual, transcending all barriers and boundaries created by man. His words resonate even today and offer timeless wisdom to seekers across generations. He emphasized the importance of realizing one's inner divinity. The divine in him was evident even as an infant. Niru was bringing home his newlywed bride when she went to a pond to quench her thirst. To her utter amazement, a lotus leaf with a baby on it floated towards her.
Who has left this baby unattended? Whose can it be? Perhaps an unwed mother or a widow must have abandoned him.
Look, dear, I have sired many babies, but alas, none survived. My house is empty. Let's take this child home.
I fear what the world may say. You know how talks go around. But this baby is so beautiful. Look at his eyes. It looks like a lotus. Yes, we shall take him home and bring him up as our son.
Full of joy, the couple took the little baby home.
We should name this child. Let's get the Qazi over to do this.
आप सही बोल रहे हैं. काजी को बुलाना चाहिए.
A Qazi was duly called to name the child.
ये बच्चा तो शैतान है. इसे तुरंत मार देना चाहिए.
The Qazi insisted that the child must be killed forthwith. As Niru was about to obey the order, ready to plunge a knife into the child's heart, a miracle of miracles happened. The infant miraculously spoke. अब मैं अविकृत से आया हूँ. मैं निराकार था. मैंने शरीर धारण किया और आया. इस शरीर में मेरा नाम कबीर है. I was called the unseen Purush, maker, immortal and loser of bonds. With all my body, I belong to the Satlok. I dwell in every heart.
ये तो कबीर है, अजीम है. ये कोई आम बच्चा नहीं है.
It is believed that even when Kabir was as young as 5, he was greatly inspired and influenced by the teachings of Sant Ramananda, the great philosopher reformer who lived in Benares. Kabir desired to be his disciple. Sant Ramananda, however, was a staunch and orthodox Vaishnavite. It was impossible for him to accept Kabir as his disciple. Yet, Kabir became his most cherished pupil. In fact, Ramananda was the only human teacher to whom Kabir acknowledged indebtedness in his songs.
I am enamored of Guru Ramananda. I need to somehow make him accept me as his pupil. I know that he takes a dip in the holy Ganga in the early hours of pre-dawn every day. I must make use of this to get him to accept me.
Kabir lay down full length at the steps of the Dasashvamedha Ghat. In the darkness of the morning, Ramananda stepped heavily with his wooden sandals upon the boy. Startled by this, and much to Kabir's elation, Ramananda uttered the words that formed the mantra of his sect.
Ram, Ram.
Kabir stood up and reverentially bowed to the sage. The sage ignored him and proceeded to bathe in the river. Armed with the divine words uttered by Ramananda, Kabir proclaimed himself as the accepted chela of the great Guru. The news of this acceptance of the Mohammedan weaver spread throughout the city.
गुरुजी, हम सब आश्चर्यचकित हैं कि आपने उस कबीर को आपकी छात्र स्वीकार किया है। ये कैसे पूछे गुरुजी?
मैंने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया। कौन है वो? बुलाओ उसे मेरे सामने।
The disciple approached Kabir.
चलो, our Guruji has summoned you.
A happy Kabir
Hello,
followed the disciple. In keeping with his practice, Ramananda spoke to Kabir from behind a curtain.
Why do you make false claims to be my disciples? Who told you to do this?
Respected sir, I was initiated on the steps of the ghat by none other than you. You touched my forehead with your foot and gave me the mantra, Ram, Ram.
With such a matter-of-fact honesty, Kabir won over the saint. The Guru-Shishya relationship became legendary. Once, Ramananda, while worshipping his favorite deity, forgot to place the garland on the deity's neck before placing the crown on his head. The small garland would not go over the crown. Ramananda wondered what to do. Kabir, who was waiting outside to pay obeisance to his Guru, solved the problem.
Gurudev untied a knot of the garland and then tied around the idol's neck.
How did he come to know about my predicament? Yes, I will do this. Nothing can conceal from Kabir. Remove this. Nothing can hide from Kabir. Remove this.
The veil now parted, and Kabir stood respectfully before his Guru and bowed to him. But Ramananda went up to him and embraced him. Kabir was a true seeker who believed in the hollowness of rituals and modes of worship. Though a devout Vaishnavite, Ramananda had the catholicity not only to accept Kabir, but often allowed himself to be guided by him in seeking the truth. Ramananda began accepting in his fold devotees of all castes and creed. Kabir did not have any religious inclinations at any point in time. He freely mingled with the weavers and butchers in Benares. At all times, he said,
हिंदू कहूँ तो मैं नहीं, मुसलमान भी नहीं। 5 तत्व का पुत्रा, युक्ति रची मैं कीव। मैं तोहे पूछो पंडिता, शब्द बढ़ा के जीव। I have no religion. I am an effigy of 5 elements. In me plays the spark divine.
In spite of his growing fame, Kabir continued to follow the profession of his foster father. His love for the loom and living on his humble labor motivated him to live even in poverty. Once a sadhu approached Kabir and asked him to pursue a profession befitting him instead of doing a menial task as weaving.
Kabir, why do you do such a menial job? Why don't you do something that befits you?
झीनी झीनी बीनी चदरिया, काहे के ताना, काहे के भरनी, कौने तान से भीनी चदरिया। इंगला पिंगला ताना भरनी, सुषमन तार से भीनी चदरिया। 8 कंवल दल चरका ढोले, 5 तत् गुण तीनी चदरिया। साई को सियत मास 10 लागे, ठोक ठोक के भीनी चदरिया। सो चादर सुर नर मुनि ओढ़ी, ओढ़ी की मैली कीनी चदरिया। दास कबीर जतन से ओढ़ी, जो की त्यों धर तीनी चदरिया।
Sheer, delicate shawl, so finely woven. Why so many warp threads, so many weft threads? Who can count the number of threads with left and right has warped and weft, embroidered with a central channel from 8 lotus chakras, 5 elements and 3 attributes it is made. The Lord takes 10 moons to weave the shawl without any beating. The shawl is worn by gods, saints and men, but they all made it dirty. Your servant Kabir has worn it carefully and is returning it to you as it was, O Lord. One cold winter day, as Kabir sat in the market to sell his goods, he saw a sadhu shivering from the cold and asking everyone for help. Kabir handed him half of his cloth. The sadhu claimed it was insufficient. Kabir handed over the remainder and returned home.
Kabir, how much did you sell today's cloth for?
I sold it for a very high price. It was so high that I couldn't bring it home. It was too heavy to carry.
To avoid the indignation of his parents, Kabir escaped from the house. Much to his astonishment, when he returned home,
Truly, Kabir, your labor has fetched a very high price today. Look at this large supply of food that some merchant sent home when you were away.
Prabhu, thank you so much for meeting my parents' requirements. Let me now distribute the remaining in alms.
Why, Kabir, are you giving to others the fruits of your labor? Should you not keep this to meet your own needs?
साईं, इतना दीजिए जामे कुटुंब समाए, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु न भूखा जाए। देने से धन घटता नहीं है, जैसे बहती नदी का जल। खोल लो नयन, देख लो, ये कबीर की वाणी है। जो कुछ तुम्हारे पास है दे दो, यहाँ कोई विक्रेता नहीं, और जो तुम्हारा है ले लो। तुमने ये शरीर प्राप्त किया है और इसका गुणवत्ता है देना, देना और देना। देही जब तक देह है, जब ये देह न होगा तो दान न होगा। When this body decays, none will ask you to give. When the boat is filled with water and the house with wealth, it is wise to empty it with both hands.
When around 30 years old, a wandering Kabir reached the sadhu's hut in a jungle where he rested. A girl of 20 odd years lived there all alone.
What is your name and where do you come from? Which caste and society do you belong to?
The answer to your every question is Kabir.
Many sadhus have passed by and come here, but none has ever given an answer like yours. I am astonished and perplexed.
All the others have a name, religion, caste, but not so Kabir.
As Kabir and the girl were conversing, a sadhu arrived.
Young girl, who are you? Who are your parents? And tell me, who was the sadhu who lived here earlier? I do not know who I am, who my parents are, or how my birth came about. A Bankhandi Baba once lived in this hut, and he told me that once while going to take a bath in the Ganga, he found me floating midstream wrapped in a woolen cloth. He took me home and reared me with milk. He found me wrapped in a dark woolen cloth called Loi, and so he named me Loi. Until his death, he called me by that name. As he lay dying, he told me that a saint would come and would be my guide. In obedience to his words, I served the saints who passed by and let them stay here a while. And now I have found that saint. I await your instructions, my lord.
Serve the sadhus, repeat Satnam, and always remain in the company of your Guru.
I will do as you say.
Loi accompanied Kabir to his abode after distributing whatever little wealth she had to those needy around. Some accounts claim Kabir to have been married with 2 children, a daughter Loi and a son by name Kamal. But most accounts maintain him to have been a celibate, and Kamal too came to be with him by divine ordainment. Once a learned but proud Brahmin who named himself Sarvajit for having defeated many great Pandits was approached by his mother.
Beta Sarvajit, you can make these claims for yourself only if you can defeat Kabir. Go ahead, let me see you accomplish this.
Do you not?
कोई बात नहीं बेटा।
Do you not know I am well versed in all the Vedas and other scriptures and have defeated many a stalwart? Who is this Kabir after all?
Well, then go ahead and show your prowess before Kabir.
With a cart laden with books, Sarvajit challenged Kabir.
Come on, brother. Let us engage in debate in any aspect of scripture or philosophy.
महोदय, मैं अपनी अज्ञानता और हार स्वीकार करता हूँ। मैंने इतनी सारी किताबें जिंदगी में कभी पहले नहीं देखी।
फिर दीजिए मुझे लिखाई में आपने कहा है अभी कि आप मेरे सामने हार मानते हैं।
Write whatever you want. I will sign.
I will write. सर्वजीत ने कबीर को हरा दिया। You just signed it.
Kabir signed it. Sarvajit duly took it to his mother. When he brought it out before her to read, it read, Kabir has defeated Sarvajit. Perplexed, he again went to Kabir and got him to sign what he had written. Kabir indulged him. To his complete embarrassment, when Sarvajit read out the signed message to his mother, yet again it read, Kabir has defeated Sarvajit. Sarvajit repeated the exercise several times with the same result.
Kabir is nothing but a magician who changes the words.
बेटा, तुम्हारा अशुद्ध मन तुम्हें कबीर की महानता को जानने नहीं देता। You must study the scriptures thoroughly in order to understand and be able to argue as to what is written in them. In the same way, if you want to draw Kabir into a debate, you must learn from him what his message is. See how humble Kabir is. He is not ashamed to accept or admit his ignorance.
What is
Beta, if you want to defeat Kabir, you must always be humble before him. Sarvajit, beta, come, I'll tell you one thing. Always remember, arrogance can never vanquish humility. Okay? कबीर, गर्म कीजिए, ऊंचा देखिए आवाज, काल पर वो भूई लेटना, ऊपर जमसी कास। ऐसी वाणी बोलिए, मन का आपा खोए, और उनको शीतल करे, आपहु शीतल होए। नमस्कार जी, पढ़ कर।
The miracles that happened during the lifetime of Sant Kabir are many and varied. Jahangir Shah, a Muslim dervish who met many holy men in India, desired to meet Kabir. When he came to visit him, he was appalled to see a pig tied to Kabir's hut. Terribly angered, he turned back. Seeing this, Kabir addressed him.
Friend, why are you going back?
Kabir, I have heard that you are a pious man, but I find that you keep an impure creature at your door. I believed you to have known your tenants better, but you hold the conduct of a non-believer.
बुरा जो देखन मैं चला, बुरा न मिलिया कोई, जो दिल खोजा आपना, मुझसा बुरा न कोई। फ्रेंड, मैंने तो अशुद्ध को घर के बाहर रखा, मगर तुमने उसे दिल में आश्रय दिया। Did your eyes not flash with anger and hatred when you saw this creature outside my house? Are anger and hatred pure? Do they keep with religious tenets?
My humble apologies to you. What you said is true.
No creation of God must be despised. How can you love God with hatred in your heart?
Jahan Shah spent some days with Kabir before continuing his travels. Once, Dharam Das, a wealthy businessman, and his wife were worshipping some stones at the back of the Ganges. While passing by that way, Kabir stopped and commented,
जो नैनन वो पुतली त्यो मालिक घट माही मूर्ख लोग न जाने ही बाहर ढूंढन जाहि. The Lord dwells within each of us, just the way the pupil stays waiting for him everywhere else. The big stones must be used to weigh 2 seams and the smaller to weigh a quarter.
Annoyed at this, Dharamdas looked at the speaker.
दियो तिल में तेल है, दियो जगमग में आग, तेरा साई तुझ में है, जाग सके तो जाग.
Saying this, Kabir vanished. But some months later, when Dharamdas and his wife were performing a havan in which ghee and incense were burnt profusely, Kabir suddenly appeared before them.
Dharamdas, you appear to be a sinner. In the logs of wood you are burning, thousands of innocent creatures are dwelling within.
As suddenly as he had appeared, Kabir disappeared. After speaking thus, Dharamdas felt remorse. His wife, however, thought differently.
आप ये यज्ञ को जारी रखिए. आप सभी साधुओं को निःशुल्क भोजन में शामिल होने के लिए सादर आमंत्रित करें. I'm sure he'll come. Will the flies not swarm around sugar?
Though the couple performed a number of yajnas and plenty of sadhus came, Kabir did not come. Meanwhile, Dharamdas lost all his money. His business dwindled and he contemplated suicide by drowning. As he walked deep into the river for the purpose, a radiant, smiling Kabir appeared before him.
Days after days, for months, I have searched for you from place to place. I have performed dozens of yajnas.
It had to be so. Did not your wife say that flies swarm around sugar? A perfect master covets nothing from disciples. Guru saman, data nahi, yachak sheesh saman. तीन लोक की संपदा, so Guru din hi dhyan. A Sadguru is a giver, not a beggar. Guru Govind दो खड़े, काके लागू पाए. बलिहारी गुरु आपने, गोविंद दियो मिलाए. Do not worry, I will give you the wealth of Satnam. लूट सके तो लूट ले, राम नाम की लूट. पाछे फिर पछताओगे, प्राण जाही जब छूट.
Dharamdas and his wife were initiated by Sant Kabir and they settled as his successors. Priests and Maulvis accused Kabir of blasphemy for disregarding all tenets of established religions. But he steadily gained true seekers who gathered around him. Upholders of so-called religions complained against him to Sultan Sikandar Lodi. He ordered Kabir to be brought to his court. He ordered Kabir to be brought to his court. Kabir greeted the Sultan as he would any ordinary man.
Is this any way you greet the great Sultan? You not respectfully bow before him?
मैं केवल एक राजा राम को जानता हूँ और उसी के सामने झुकता हूँ.
He is a non-believer who deserves to be punished.
The God who dwells within each of us has no knowledge of religion, caste or creed. जो ईश्वर हम में निवास करता है, उसे जाति, धर्म या नस्ल का ज्ञान नहीं है।
I am impressed with his straightforwardness and personality. I hereby dismiss the charges against him.
Orthodox believers of various communities made every effort to bring Kabir back to Lodi's court. Looking at his accusers present there, Kabir simply smiled.
What so amuses you, Kabir?
These men couldn't bear to stand united in the court of the King of Kings. It amuses me to see them standing united in the court of a worldly king, a mere mortal.
The invectives of the dignitaries convinced the Sultan that Kabir was guilty of blasphemy. In a fit of rage, he ordered,
I hereby order that Kabir be drowned.
हे प्रभु, मैं आपके शरण में हूँ और हमेशा से था। दुनिया तुम्हारे चाहने वालों को दुश्मन समझती है। हे प्रभु, जीवन और मृत्यु में तुम ही मेरे एक सहायक और सहारा हो।
hands and feet bound by heavy chains, he was thrown into the river. But the waves broke the chains and Kabir was seen floating on the water. This is a trick played by the magician, said the people.
हे कबीर, मेरा इस दुनिया में कोई नहीं है। पृथ्वी और जल में मेरा एक ही उद्धार करता प्रभु है।
Kabir was then thrown at the feet of the elephant, which refused to trample him in spite of the goading by the mahout.
ईश्वर हर प्राणी के दिल में रहता है, इसके दिल में भी निवास करता है।
Throw him into the fire.
No one or nothing seemed to harm Kabir. He emerged uninjured from the fire, emitting divine radiance. It is said that though his life was spared, Kabir was banished by Sikandar Lodi from Kashi. He moved to Magadhar.
Listen friends, let no doubt remain. What is the difference between Kashi and Magadhar? Ram dwells everywhere.
After Kabir's coming to Magadhar, its only dry river, Ami, started flowing throughout the year and its stigma was removed. One afternoon in January 1518, Kabir left the world in Magadhar on Magh Shukla Ekadashi. The saint was found lying on the floor, covered with a white sheet. The river of life merged into the ocean of infinity. There was a great dispute over his dead body, over whether it should be burnt or buried. Miraculously, when the shroud was removed, a large quantity of flowers and not his body was seen under it. Both communities of people took half the flowers each and completed rituals according to their respective beliefs. Kabir greatly influenced the Bhakti movement with simple teachings that emphasize equality of human beings, universal brotherhood, detachment from material possessions. He advocated leading a humble life, free from ego and greed. His poems reflected his thought and life. We conclude this play with a couple of his dohas.
जाति न पूछिए साधु की, पूछ लीजिए ज्ञान। जब हरि था मैं नहीं, अब हरि है मैं नहीं। सब बंधियारा मिट गया, दीपक देखा माही.
Well, with this, we come to the end of our day's program.